the company Collectibles, and today we're going to be... Thank you, Josh, from Comic Concepts, for having the statue on availabilities. Comic Concepts down below. I don't know how to... Hello. I have this really highlighting light thingy, but anyway. Queen Studios, Josh, Comic Concepts, check them out down below. This is where I got the Venom. I think I got his very last Venom bust. I got him. So, obviously we have Queen Studios 1-to-1 scale Venom life-size bust. Now, this is an amazing piece. Here, let me show you. His tongue. Quite frankly, one of the most disgusting things known to man. That is just insanely gross. Let me see if I want to do this. Maybe I want to do that. But look at this. That is amazing. And you can see the little droplet. Let me see if I can. On his tongue. From the acrylic resin that they used to make this thing a more gloss finish like the tongue really is and would be. So very, very cool. Now, this thing did not come without issues. Trust me. Let me I have all the extra pieces here off to the side. But let me put this down, the tongue, and let me do a full 360 so you can see the massive build this guy has. Now, this guy was $1,700 shipped from Comic Concepts. Woo, buddy. He wants to get magnetized. $1,700 shipped from Comic Concepts. And I want to say that's fairly cheap given how massive. This was $100 in one package. And that's amazing. That's pretty cool. I'm absolutely loving it. But like I said, it doesn't come without its flaws. Here, let me show you. And I haven't put on everything that he comes with on because I want to show you him butt naked first, if that makes any sense. So here, up here, you can see, wow, bonanzas, the seam lines, you know, going throughout the seam lines, crazy seam lines. And then here is where we step into the problem. So that's where I'm like, wow, man, like it's a crazy, crazy amount of, I don't want to say damage, more so, I don't know. I think it's quality control that makes it so it's damaged. But look at this up here. This is ridiculous. For what is a really high-end statue company, I think this is absurd. And I really do think they dropped the ball on this. Now crossing over to the other side. Yeah, it gets a little bit worse. So as you can see, all of that. And then, like I said, seam lines galore. Now, when the bust is sitting there all displayed out and fully, put together, it doesn't show as bad. But man, this is bad. I mean, you're talking about very bad levels of quality control when it comes to this size of a statue. Now, I'm not saying that it's poor quality, but they could have done better on quality control. As you can see, the details just stretch all the way up into the teeth and the gums and the bust. And it's amazingly done. Don't get me wrong, it's amazingly done. But where they needed it to shine, and which it does shine, it has a lot of gloss, no pun intended. But where they needed it to shine was obviously the mouth. They really took a hit. This really took a hit. And for the money, what I paid for, I would have expected, just pure perfection, to be honest. It's kind of sucky to have, but I mean, what are you going to do? And over here, thankfully for my little light mounted on my camera, over here, can you see it? See, it kind of gives it away right there. Like, it's that's pretty bad, you know, for the money. There you can see more highlights on the teeth. I mean gums. I'm just taken back about how they did, you know. So let's go ahead and apply his tongue, which here, hey Batman, hey other headless Batman. The tongue, which is awesomely done. As you can see, the resin leaking off the end of the tongue. Very nicely done, except for the bottom, which kind of looks like mush, but it kind of flows. The top of the tongue, the color, as you can see, the translucency. Let me put it up to the light. You can see the translucency, which is what I think very nicely done. I like how they did that. It's padded, so when you mount this, it's not horribly smashing into the statue. Goes on very nicely, but now again, look at this seam. Up here is cool, but wow, I think they could have worked a little bit better on this seam. Now, am I complaining a little bit too much? I don't feel so, because for the money, like I said, for the company and where it's coming from, it kind of gives off a bad like look, I guess. Like I see it, so I see it's there, you know. Anybody just walking up like, hey Pred, you look awesome, Prime 1. Whoa, Venom, that looks awesome. Right, cool beans. And I mean, that's what you would want. But just looking at this thing, like knowing it's there in my mind is a little bit much, especially these cracks. I can't get around that. These cracks here and there and the intense seam lines. But as you can see more of the gooiness, the saliva dripping off of his teeth. The teeth is very nicely done. Nice acrylic teeth, it looks like to be. Resin dripping off. And then I love the controlled resin going out throughout his mouth and down. And I love the multiple layers of teeth. Now, this statue was a artist rendition by Queen Studios, basically. Now, it has a nameplate. Here, Venom. And that goes somewhere here. And it looks very nice. It looks very, very nice. It's nothing too, you know, obnoxious. I kind of don't like nameplates because if you don't know where this character is from, get out of my room. You know, he doesn't have any labels. He doesn't have any labels. It doesn't tell you where it's from. I mean, she doesn't have any labels. I don't need to know, you know. So I like that they did, you know, a very minimalist label on him, like a plaque. But notice how it looks like it's from the movie Venom, right? But this isn't the Venom we saw in the movie. This is actually Queen Studios' rendition on Venom. And I like that. This, to me, has to be one of the most perfect Venom busts I've ever seen. It's very nicely done. The teeth, the mouth, everything about it. As you can see, the resin dripping off here. That's amazing. I love this bone-looking spider emblem on his chest. This is one of the highlights of this bust. If it did not have this spider on his chest, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. The way they perfectly annihilated the spider, I swear. This reminds me of a Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man Venom, in which it's very jagged and very bone-like. It's very nicely done. It kind of reminds me of like Spawn's like sculpture in a way. And then we go down towards the base. Obviously here I just propped on the Venom logo, and then here you have the base. Now the base I feel could have been a little bit more detailed. First time I'm actually going so hard on a statue. That's what she said. And it's not because I'm being too picky or I'm being cheap and I want my money back kind of deal, but I feel like they could have done a little bit better here and there. It's a bit soft in sculpt, Lots of dust came on this guy, that's for sure. And then as you work your way up, actually, it looks really good up here. It looks really good up here. Like this looks like a nice buildup of the symbiote and his gelatinous going throughout. Very cool. Now I'm gonna put his tendrils on. This is all his tendrils that he came with. I'm gonna put it on, but look at the back of this guy. Like, what the heck is this? That's a big chunky dude. That's some neck, man. I just want to smack the crap out of this. But as you can see, tints of blue into the paint. Love that. Love that we're getting this classic comic book blue into Venom. Now, one thing with the skin, it is very, very detailed. As you can see, the pores. This, anybody could mistake and say, oh yeah, it's silicone. Or silicone, whatever you want to say. Silicon Valley. What is this? Looks like a bit of weathering. It has this weird... Okay, yeah, that's dust, as you can see in my... I don't know if you can see that, make it out, but it's very dusty. Jeepers, that's very dusty. Wow. Yeah, that is super dusty. I think that's like overspraying the factory. It looks like overspray. Anyway, but if you look, it's just immaculate as far as details go on the skin. It looks just like silicone, but it's obviously all polystone and a very heavy hunky boy. I think 91 pounds. So you're averaging about 100 pounds for this guy. Now, this, like, I'm glad, you know, Queen went with this look. Sideshow has their own look as well, but this outweighs Sideshow big time. This is a much more of a buy. I think Sideshow's is like 1,300 versus this guy is 1,500 plus shipping. And I mean, even like that sticks out like a sore thumb. Jeepers creepers, guys. But I absolutely love the comic book look of his turns and jagged edges and the design in his eyes. That is one big thing I had really loved, is that they didn't go with the regular movie eyes, which is more of a streamlined eye. Instead, this actually goes back, you know, whips, and then it comes down to a sharp point back right here, like an arrow. I really love that design. I like this, and it's beautiful. I like it. I like it a lot. So they really nailed that comic book look, and I think that's why I fell in love with the whole look of the statue. They absolutely performed well as far as Venom's tongue. Venom's tongue has been one of those things that I feel they haven't really got on point, because, or not Queen Studios, like other statues, because it's very rationally, you really have to balance out the size of this guy according to his tongue, according to how it will move. It looks very nice, and what that mouth do is, I don't know. You got to figure that out. But I really love the way they figured how to really, you know, do the statue out, make it look absolutely amazing. Now, as you can see, as the highlights go around, you can see the tinges of blue. Very nicely done. Very nicely done, and also in his eyes. So let me just take the brightness down a little bit, and you can see that brightness, that little blue in his eyes going throughout. And you can see all the little snippets and details as far as this goes. You can see all of that. The symbiotes. That's a little cheeky. These little airbrush right here. I feel like these are misplaced. I feel like that's kind of cheeky. Not really the best work on that side. A little bit better on this side. I don't like what's going on here. I mean, I'm being a critique as a critique can be. But look at that. Look inside of his mouth. The guy has tonsils. You know, there's his little... So don't put anything other than your hands in that mouth, because it's a very dangerous thing to do. But let's put Venom all together now. Whoa, almost fell. Let's put them all together. I'm gonna assemble this guy, probably go through a time lapse on it, because that's a lot of pieces to put in. And I might just I might just like skip to it. Depends. Who knows? Let's see what happens. So there he is all assembled, and he is amazing. He's even better, obviously, with all his tendrils put on, and he's just looking amazing. Like that's fantastic. Besides this break, and that mouth, full of issues in the mouth, because obviously that's where all the art is. I mean, not all of it, but most of the appearance for this statue is around that mouth. And that mouth, even with, I mean, I can see so many, in person you can see so much as far as details, because obviously you're in person and you can see a lot more with the naked eye. Excuse my messy room, but it just, in person, this guy, the mouth, it just gets to me, the mouth. But besides that, this statue is really cool. Like, it has such presence. Like, it's very nicely done. Like, the presence of this guy, like, really shines. Now, he's not bigger, I wouldn't say bigger than my Batman bust. Here, maybe I can step back at a good angle. He is significantly smaller. He doesn't have arms, so he's not going to take up as much space. But with the tendrils put on and everything, this guy looks absolutely killer. Like, this is a one-of-a-kind piece. I would definitely, if I had the chance, I would definitely pick it up in another lifetime. But knowing these things, like, it would make my decision hard. But I mean, I didn't know that. I've seen Gem Mint's videos and whatnot, but I kept on going. I just said, I gotta have it. It's one of those things I kind of missed out a while ago and saw it still up for pre-order or order, and I said, I'll take it. Look at the drool. Saliva dripping through. Delicious.
We are Venom.
You know, I just had to do it. But look, it goes all the way up there. This is a very nice looking statue. And with that being said, Queen did a very good job. I mean, Queen did what they were aiming to do with this statue, obviously. All right, we're back from measuring. So he's about 33 inches high. I would give him a 35 for clearance, and about 30 to 33 inches wide, given his tendrils stick out, you know. And then he's about 20 inches deep, being that his back is so thick. So that's one thing. His back sticks out a ton. He has a big old fat back, which is very nice looking. So, not that bad of a measurement-wise for your statue's, you know, display. I recently converted it to a garage shelf, which a lot of people are saying, Magic Case. And indeed, I do have Magic Cases right there. I didn't want to show you the mess on the floor. But I love the garage shelf. At $95, both of these for $95 from Costco, you can't beat them. And they're very nice looking. And once I put, you know, spotlights and whatnot on them, I think they'll be very nice looking. I have the Headless Horseman right here as we speak. He was on the Batman pedestal. But these hold up to like 600 pounds, 650 each shelf. And there it is. Queen Studios Venom life-size bust, which I have to rate it at, even with, you know, all the quote-unquote flaws that it has, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Because they're not massive flaws. All while it does take away here and there. I mean, when you look at that mouth, it's kind of embarrassing for a company like Queen Studios to have such issues. Now you can't see it in the bright white light, but there it is, big old cracks. That's not too fancy, is it? Focus on it. That's kind of messed up as far as, you know, quality control goes for Queen. So, very nicely done. Now, posing angle, who knows what that is, right? I don't even know what's its angle. But I would say because they put the Venom, you know, in front, they wanted it to be as such. But if it's as such, you're, you know, kind of away from it. He's facing you with his head turned. I really like it at like a little quarter panel angle, like almost direct on, but not, kind of a slight twist. So I think he's best at that angle because you really get a display of his head sculpture, you know, the mouth. I think if you turn it in a straight head-on direction with the nameplate, you don't really get too much of the action. But you turn it to the side a little, you see all that beautiful detail. Like all that beautiful detail going into the neck. I absolutely love this. The veinage, everything. I love that giant seam. I don't love that giant seam. But I do love that they didn't make this like a separate head you have to pop on. I don't like that Infinity did that. Infinity made it that it's not even magnetized on. It's very, as you can, I don't know if you can see the minor shake it has. It's very, very scary. I don't like that. It has to have a strong head. Like, look at Prime 1. Boom. This one's mounted on the guy, so it's not going to be a problem. Most of these armless busts will be mounted. I mean, obviously, for shipping reasons, they tear them apart, but I love that they didn't go with that mount option. It's just already on there. And the teeth galore. Love the teeth. Love the double, you know, the double or triple lines of teeth that he has in there. Maybe you can see the detail on that teeth, man. But I love the multiple layers of teeth going on, as you can see here. Very nicely done. And especially with the tendrils on, absolutely killer piece. So I'm going to give it an 8.5. 8 to 8.5 out of 10 because of the, you know, lack of issues, quality control, stuff like that. It's just a little harsh, I feel, for such a company. So hope what you saw here on these collectibles was good enough for you, because I'm kind of nervous. I feel like I'm reviewing my first audition of statues. Like, I've had this guy, but I feel like this guy, it's just something else. Like, I first time reviewer on this guy, but man, he's awesome. Absolutely love this. I love that you can see his tonsils. Very nicely done. Very, very nicely done. All right, I'm done talking. Until next time, guys, let's see what let's see what we bust on next. Nobody got that joke? Bust, get it? Bust on it. Okay, bye, guys.